Okay, so for some reason my phone is telling me I can only do 13 minutes. I don't have the computer right now because my fiance is using it, so we're going to get right into this. We're going to talk about 4th of July. And so, for those of you who don't know, if you don't know, well, you should go pick up a history book. 4th of July was not fought for just by whites. It was not fought for just whites' freedom. And there were a lot of races fighting for freedoms. Now, yes, I understand Civil War didn't happen until much later. Blacks were not the only slaves. So before somebody tries to tell me that my holiday is racist, my flag is racist, blacks were not the only slaves. Irish were slaves. And you never hear the Irish complain about it. I mean, my people, the Hebrews, still complain about how they were slaves. You never hear Irish say anything about slavery. Like, good on you, Irish. I love the Irish because of the fact they don't complain about the fact that they were slaves. They do, however, complain that their country is still run by people who stole their country from them. Excuse me. So, what I have to say to that is, hey, go look up some books and everything. Do some research on how you can take your country back. Guerrilla warfare is very much a thing. Vietnamese handed us our ass. Taliban was actually able to hide from us forever. Go figure out how to fight. Read The Art of War. I know I tell people to read a lot. I love reading books, especially history books. I'm actually reading one right now about Viking life and just like what it was like. I love reading. Go read a book about it. Like, go read books on warfare, on how guerrilla warfare works, all this other stuff. Take your country back, Ireland. Come on, let's go. Next topic I'm going to talk about, Joe Biden on the Second Amendment. This one is the one I want to focus on more. Reason being is because I'm huge into the Second Amendment and huge into America's history. I'm actually a history buff and can almost school just about anyone I know on history just because of how much I know about it. I got into a very heated conversation. I was not getting heated. Other people were getting heated with me because of the fact that I said that we conquered this land from the Indians. We had weapon superiority. That's a thing. We had better tactics. Indians had only ever fought against other Indians. Columbus came over, the Italians had fought against other countries, so they already knew what they were doing. British came over, again, they had fought wars. And then you have us Americans. We had just won a war against England, and then had just won the Civil War. By the way, the reason that the whole Union went against the Indians, go do some research on the Civil War. Figure out what side the Indians fought on. See, everybody thinks it was just North and South. Not true. Indians fought on the South side because the Confederacy told them that they were going to get land back if they won, which was actually the plan. So before everybody tries to say that the Confederates were all about white supremacy, that's not true. It actually had very little to do with that. It had a lot more to do with rights. And everybody's like, oh yeah, the right to keep slaves. No, the rights to their lands. The rights to not have to pay more taxes than the guy who had less land or had the same land up north. South was getting taxed all the ass for their plantations. And they couldn't afford it. And here's the problem. This is where part of our problem comes into. Again, do I agree with slavery? Fuck no. But here's part of the problem comes into. Everything at that time that we had, the majority of it was made here in America. Our shirts, our pants, horseshoes, our steel. It was all made here. It wasn't made in other countries. And it was made by plantation owners. So now when they started taxing them more to the point where they couldn't even keep their plantations going, that just fucked everything. Now look at where we are. We're deep in debt with China. Anybody see a coincidence there? Fuck you, Lincoln. But Joe Biden said this about the Second Amendment, that the American people would not be able to fight against the government. False. We almost overrun you 6th of January in the Capitol. So that was false. You even said that we could have overthrown the government there. So either we are not capable of overthrowing the government, or we are. If we are not able to, all those charges against all those people should be dropped because, oh, well, you tried to do something that won't work out. Here you go, you're just an idiot. Go home. But the fact that they actually almost overthrew the government, which, I'm going to get hate for this, but we should have overthrown the government on January 6th. But continuing in. So he says that we wouldn't be able to with AR-15s. You're wrong. Seeing terrorists be able to hold off troops with just AK-47s, and they had tanks. You can actually Google that. You can find videos of them doing this. But then he says that we would need to have F-15s and nukes. We never said that we didn't need those. We're saying that American people should have the same equipment that the government has. And then I've got people sitting there going, you think that American citizens need nukes? I think the American citizen needs whatever the government has. Because if we are going to overrun the government once they become tyrannical, which they already have, they've already overstepped their bounds. Shout out to Walls. Fuck you, Governor. It is now time for the American people to step up and be like, hey, guess what? Get out. And now I'm not saying every household gets a nuke. I'm saying like every community has like 4 people on that community center. They all have to agree on using the nuke. They all have a 16-digit code. So all 4 of them have to go plug in their 16-digit code simultaneously to launch off a nuke. But then he goes on to say that the American people have always been limited on what they have been allowed to buy versus what the government has. And I was like, I just sat there when he said that. I was like, okay, hold on. What? And he said, for instance, you couldn't buy a cannon when the Constitution was written. I was like, yeah, you could. Then he tried saying that you couldn't buy a warship. I was like, again, yeah, you could. People just didn't buy them. Because, well, 1, they were expensive, and 2, like, I'm talking about cannons here, not the warships, but 1, they were expensive, and 2, they were inaccurate. So the American people were just like, yeah, we're just going to use all our muskets, like, just line up, like, what we do, and shoot at each other, and we'll end up getting your cannons from you, and then we'll turn them around and use them on you. That we don't have to buy them. So, yeah, you could, Biden. History apparently was not your strong point. Last topic I'm going to touch on. There were quite a few other ones I wanted to touch on, but my phone's being stupid. So, City Council. So, the City Councilwoman was just held hostage during the Pride Parade, and this was not by homosexual. Well, the guy might have been homosexual, the other people might have been homosexuals, but that's not what she was held there for. Was not a homosexuality bill. No, she was held there because they forced her to sign papers that are not legally binding, first of all. But they wanted her to sign papers saying she was going to defund the police. She was going to give the George Floyd circle, fuckaroo, whatever the fuck it's called, that should be torn down since we're tearing down statues of our ancestors that actually fought in a war that had nothing to do with fucking slavery. They want that given back to the people there in Minneapolis. They want the cops gone. They want, and it was just like, I just sat there and just read this. I was like, oh my God. Thank you for proving me right. I have already been sitting here saying this is a terrorist tactic, and you taking a councilwoman, holding her car in there, pinning around it, circling it, and then shoving papers in her face, telling her she needed to sign this so they weren't going to let her leave. That's That's a scare tactic. Literally what we've all been saying about you. So, thank you for once again proving me right. God, and people sit there and say I'm an idiot. I guess I've got time to jump down to this Olympic thing. Woman gets up there, don't even know her fucking name. She can go fuck herself, jump out of the Olympics, jump off a bridge for all I fucking care. National anthem comes on. Sits there, turns at a 90-degree angle, holds her head down, holds her hand down by her hip, and then grabs a Black Lives Matter shirt and drapes it over her shoulder. But then tries to say that she was set up. Okay, wait. You were set up. You were saying that you didn't know the national anthem was going to be played then. Then why did you bring with that shirt? What, you're just carrying it just for fucking show? And then, oh, hey, look at this. Now I can do this. No, fuck you. That's not a thing. Nobody just goes around walking carrying a t-shirt like that. Alright. Lastly, COVID vaccines. Cruise ships have had to turn around that everybody was vaccinated and everybody tested positive. So the only thing I'm going to say is, hey, good job, vaccine companies. Your vaccines worked out perfectly. They did such a good job. COVID is cured. Hats off to you. Here's a salute. Fuck you, COVID. Fuck you, vaccine companies. Fuck you, doctors that are trying to push it. And especially, fuck you, Fauci. You're a load of shit. So, that's my video. That's my rant for today. Again, happy belated 4th. Shout out to all of you who have been celebrating 4th of July and have been respecting the flag. Good for you guys. Thank you to my fellow veterans that are serving or have served, continuing to serve. Thank you for everything you guys have done and continue to do. Thank you to the police officers for keeping everybody safe yesterday. Saw quite a few of you out. Thank you, thank you, thank you. God bless America. Love you all. Sail out, boys and girls. It's going to continue to be a bumpy ride.